It's Project Cargo Professionals. We're live at Breakbulk Europe in Rotterdam, and I'm with Daniel Duus, Global Head of Logistics for thyssenkrupp Uhde. Very good to see you.
Thank you, yeah.
Before we start, I've got to ask, you've got something on your leg and you look like you're walking not very well, so tell us what's been happening.
So try to avoid playing indoor soccer when you're turning 40 years old.
Indoor soccer.
And concentrate or focus on different kind of sports. Yeah.
Okay. So you've been out for a while not walking?
It's some issues with the ligament and ACL, but it's turning better. So yeah, it's possible again to walk around, because it's a wide area here, as you know, to meet a lot of logistics partners, and that's luckily it's still possible.
Well, we're glad to hear. Good to see you. Thanks for stopping by. I saw on LinkedIn the other day that you've recently celebrated, was it 10 years in the company?
Yes.
So tell us a bit about your role and how that's changed since you started.
Yeah. So 10 years with thyssenkrupp. So a lot of strategic operational topics. So started actually in the operational business at thyssenkrupp Uhde for the cement plant business. I have developed and worked on a large project in Saudi, and then moved to thyssenkrupp Uhde to work on different projects like in Brunei, in Hungary, large polyol project. Also to develop projects like in Middle East, and now heading the global logistics since September 2020.
Okay.
And for sure, if you're looking at the 10 last years, there was a lot of changes in our business. So I can see that project logistics is coming more from execution model to strategic model. So means we are getting more in the direction of reactive to be proactive. And this is also a fight in the company, because you have to make a lot of advertisement for logistics when you are working in EPC company, that we are not sending only goods from A to B, that there is much more effort behind of that. And this is getting more and more well recognized, and that we are, let's say, involved on a very early stage in the project, that we participate to work on logistics concepts, on route studies, and also, especially in these days where you have a lot of risk mitigation topics, how to deal with the mitigation, how to include that in the calculation, to work also on different alternative solutions, and also to combine everything with the interface in our project is a challenge, but we are getting more and more in the direction that it is well recognized.
So there's never one solution anymore?
There is never one solution. We are in project business, and each project is different. So we have different customers. At thyssenkrupp Uhde, we are acting as an EPC for chemical plants with different technologies. So we are offering, for example, ammonia plants, methanol plants, polyol, PET, coke plants, petrochemical plants. So at first, it is different because we have a wide area of different technologies. On the other side, you are working with different customers in different regions, and each region has its challenges, and especially in large EPC projects, we are responsible for the complete EPC part. Means for project logistics, we work on concepts how to deliver, not only the single screw, also the big equipment and ODC to the construction site, and to work on the concept. This is what it makes it really interesting, but also a lot of headaches sometimes.
And how involved are you in individual projects? Are you?
Yes.
You are?
Yes.
Yeah, so tell us a bit about the logistics team that you manage, where those people are located around the world, and the capability that that team has.
We are also increasing more and more our global logistics team. So we're starting implementing our supply chain hubs, especially beside Germany. We are based in Dortmund, Germany. Beside Germany, more and more in India and in China. We can see really interesting market in China, also in India, not only to making projects, also when it comes to sourcing strategy, and also when it comes to ramping up our own people and our own entities. And this is also, I guess, a huge task within the next years to ramping up the global logistics team, to work on the global harmonization of processes, of our tools, and That's.
Can you tell us anything about some of the current projects that you're working on at the moment, big projects?
Yes, currently we're still working on our CAFCO 7 project in Qatar. Yeah. So fortunately, we have delivered all the heavy lifts and ODCs within the last year, and not in these days. For sure, it's quite challenging. We still have some deliveries, yeah, with a lot of air freight solutions, yeah. In some
But lucky
cases,
you that you managed to do that last year.
Yes. Yeah. So yeah, I would say we are focused in Middle East, yeah. But beside of that, we are working on global projects, yeah. Also in Americas, also in Africa, Australia, and in Asia for sure. India, yeah, we have a very strong footprint in India, and yeah, it's globally, but I would say main focus is in Middle East.
Okay. And I was interested to read you saying that successful EPC logistics is no longer about optimizing a single contract, but understanding the entire contract ecosystem. So I was wondering how that changes the opportunities for project logistics companies. Does that mean that there are more opportunities for a smaller pool of providers?
Yes, because on the one hand, you can see the development coming from lump sum contracts, yeah. So the first stage is actually what is the contract between our customer and the EPC contractor. Yeah, we can see it's still oftentimes lump sum because our customers usually don't want to have anything to do with the risk mitigation, and they want to have lump sum fixed price.
Yep.
Yeah, and please work on the turnkey project, work on EPC. Yeah, that's why you are on the market. Yeah, and on the other hand, we can see in some cases the change going more in the direction of open book, reimbursable contracts, cost plus fee. And we are also discussing strategies how we can also implement it when it comes to the interface between we as EPC and our logistics partners. Yeah, also to discuss about the risk sharing, about the mitigation, and to be more transparency. Because lump sum means also you are working in a more or less safe environment. And in these days, yeah, when you look on all the geopolitical tensions,
yeah, it's almost impossible.
You don't have. And this is very contrary, yeah? And therefore you have to be open for new strategies when it comes to the contracts towards our customers, but also towards our logistics partners.
Yeah. And we're not going to name any names, but I'm just curious in general, what's your personal preference for project logistics providers? Do you prefer working with the very large companies, or do you see advantages for smaller and mid-sized companies, or what's your general preference, if there are any general trends?
Depends. Yeah, because it's a mix. Okay. Yeah, we have, I guess, really good, reliable pool of logistics and service providers. Yeah, also the large companies, but also the mid-sized companies who are very specialized and focused on project logistics. Yeah. In some cases, it's also easier to work with mid-sized companies because we can see that if you are talking with the owner of the company, he will make directly the decision. Yeah, so we go to the left side or to the right side. Yeah, if you work with the large companies, you also for sure have some benefits. Yeah, when it comes to the financial background, to bank guarantees and so on.
Yep.
Yeah, but in some cases for sure, they have also a lot of people involved to the project, and I am a friend of key accounts. Yeah, one face to the customer, and I wouldn't say I'm missing this at large companies. That's not, but we are really happy with the mix. Yeah, and beside of the freight forwarders, we are also running framework contracts when it comes to packaging and preservation of our material. When it comes to transport engineering solutions, especially when we are looking on the development to modularization, and also when it comes to equipment we need. Yeah, this is also a growing market that we are also looking on the companies who have the equipment, especially for our upcoming modules.
Yeah, I was just about to ask you about modularization because you've been a big advocate of that. So speak a little bit about that in your operations.
Modularization is one of the largest topics at Uhde because there's a huge development in the market, and customer requirements are increasing. So they don't want to have any stick-built concepts anymore, especially if you're going to countries, for example, like in the US, Like in Australia, you have very high construction costs. You have strong labor unions, yeah, and our customers have high interest to avoid that and to shift the construction from the site to low-cost model yards, but to keep the quality. And it's also a big benefit when it comes to safety, when it comes to accelerate our projects, because our customers for sure want to see that we are accelerating. Yeah, I don't want to have the ammonia plant in 3 years anymore. I want to have it in 2 years. And we have to think about what is the best strategy. And that's, as I mentioned, it's a large topic. We have a lot of internal strategies to think about standardization and modularization. So for logistics, it's a really interesting topic because transportation is getting more technical, more complex. You are going also to the deck carrier market in some cases. Yeah. And it's really interesting to develop it. And we are on a really good way. We are in close contact with our engineering teams, with our construction teams, to think about the, let's say, scheduling, to think about the sequence of erection, and then to work on storage plans and with the large utilization of the vessels. Also, when it comes to auditing of different model yards, and supply chain is rapidly changing. It's not just to send single items anymore to the site.
Right.
It's also the mix. We still have stick-built shares to the site, but also a lot of reissue material which is turning to the model yards.
Yeah. And looking ahead in the next few years, what do you think are going to be the biggest issues that you're going to have to deal with in terms of managing project logistics?
It's still the geopolitical uncertainties. So we are thinking about how to become more and more to be proactive and not reactive. Yeah. So I guess AI will a large topic. Yes, we are working in a very traditional industry. It's people's business industry, and this will not change. Yeah. So for sure, it will be people business. Yeah. This we will keep. But on the other hand, we are working with a lot of data. For each project, we are gaining a lot of data. For each project, you have different interfaces to the customer, to the construction companies, internal interfaces to all our departments and teams, but also external to our logistics partners. And AI will be a game changer, I am convinced, when it comes to prediction of risks, that you have. Let's say, this is also where we are working on a research and development project when it comes to a supply chain control tower, because we in the industry, as shippers, community, have to give the push. Because we need independent systems and tools how to running the supply chain for future projects.
And lastly, I want to try and help our audience of logistics providers here. So one thing I like to ask the shippers, can you give them a piece of advice of how to win more project logistics business? But it can't be something you think they might have heard 100 times before. So be creative.
That's a really good question. So I think our logistics service providers have to think in the end-to-end transparency and have really keep focus to get a deep insight in our industry, what we are doing, how the industry works, what are also our competitors, how the market works, what kind of equipment we have, and to be in close contact. What are your challenges, because this is quite dynamic, and really to understand the supply chain behind of our EPC projects and to be interested in that, not only in the cargo, also interested how we can support you. That you can also win the projects, that we can give you a smart logistics concept, which is maybe an USP, when we are in competition to other EPCs, to run the project.
So a bit of market intelligence would be a good thing.
Yes.
Daniel, thank you very much for coming by, especially as it wasn't so easy for you to get here, but wishing you all the best and hope you're back playing football soon.
Thank you for having me here.
Thanks a lot. Cheers.
Okay.
Thank you.